Hola mis amigos, yo soy Brock Page, and I do random sports picks for fun. Let's get into it. We're going to go into the East. Washington +3 at the Atlanta Hawks with the total at an even 210. Atlanta's laying 155 on the money line, and 58% of the bettors think the Hawks will get the job done. Now, speaking of Atlanta, they've been hot against the number, covering their last 3 straight in the series. They're also 5-4 against the spread in head-to-head matchups with the Wizards this year. Having said all that, these very Atlanta Hawks covered just 19 of 43 games at home this year. Even worse, the Hawks covered just 23 of 55 going into games as the favorite. In addition to all that, Atlanta's covering just 41% in games at the current spread. On a side note, the home team in this series is undefeated. Washington's 3-0 at home in the series, while the Hawks are 2-0 in the series when playing in Atlanta. Moving on, when it comes to the scoring, 3 out of the series' 5 games have gone over the line. In addition to that, only 1 out of the series' 5 games have gone under 210 points. All that said, I'm ready to make my pick as I think Washington +3 gets the job done against the spread. When it comes to the total, I think this one goes over the 210. And when it comes to the money line cash, I think the Atlanta Hawks won't be playing any more basketball this year after this game. In addition to all that, I'm adjusting the line and taking the Wizards +11 as the first pick of my 8-point super teaser. Now, before I slide into my DMs, before I slide into my next game, I just want to take a quick break. Dame un segundo y recap my picks from last night's action. We had 2 games, 6 total picks, and 1 teaser, and we bagged them all out. Perfect 6-0 on the spread total and money line picks, as well as a successful 3-team teaser for -120. So hopefully tonight we can keep it going. I do these picks for fun and for broadcasting practice, but it's nice to get a few right as well. And so with that said, let's go ahead and get into some more picks. We're going to stay in the East. Boston at Chicago. It's been a great series. The betting opened up, no surprise here, as a pick'em contest with the total at an even 204. Since then, Boston's now -2.5 against the spread, with the total moving slightly downward to 203.5. Currently, the Celtics are laying 141 on the money line, and at the moment, 64% of the bettors think Boston will get the job done. Speaking of the Celtics, it looks like they woke their ass up, period. After losing games 1 and 2 in the Garden, Boston's won and covered the last 3 straight. And when I say cover, I mean they pulverized the spread in games 3 and 4. They also covered an impressive 71% in games at the current point spread this season. They're facing a Chicago team who hasn't won at home yet in the series. They dropped games 3 and 4 in the United Center and failed to cover in both of those losses. The Bulls are also just 4 and 5 against the spread in head-to-head matchups with the Celtics. When it comes to the scoring, games 3, 4, and 5 all went under the total posted points. 2 out of the series' last 3 games have also gone under 203.5. All that said, I'm ready to make my pick as I think the Boston Celtics -2.5 will get the job done against the spread. When it comes to the total, I think this one stays under 203.5. And when it comes to the money line cash, I think Chicago, I think their season ends tonight. In addition to all that, I'm also adjusting the line and taking the Bulls +10.5 as the second pick of my 8-point teaser. That's going to take us into our third and final game for the show, LA Clippers at Utah. The betting opened up with the Jazz as the 5.5-point favorites and the total at 192. Since then, Utah's -6 against the spread, with the total moving upward to 193. Currently, the Jazz are the money line favorites, laying 260, and at the moment, 58% of the bettors think the Clippers will get the job done. Speaking of Los Angeles, they've been terrible against the number in the series, failing to cover 4 out of the series' 5 games. They're also just 4 and 5 against the spread in head-to-head matchups with Utah. Having said that, the Clippers are facing a Utah squad who covered just 19 of 43 games at home this year. In addition to that, Utah covered just 47% overall in all games this year. When it comes to the scoring, we haven't had much of it in the series. However, 2 of the series' last 3 games have indeed gone over the line. In addition to that, 2 out of those 3 very games also went over 193 points. All that said, I think the LA Clippers will keep it close and cover the 6. When it comes to the total points, I think this one makes it over 193. And when it comes to the money line cash, I think Utah closes this one out in a tight home win. I'm also adjusting the line and taking the Clippers +14 as the third pick of my teaser. Just a reminder, my 8-point sweetheart super teaser pays 5 to 6 and gets graded as a loss should any game result in a push. You can find this exotic wager in several online sportsbooks and in the beautiful tax-free state of Delaware. Wow. Sorry for that terrible read, guys. But that is going to do it for me. Nos vemos a la próxima. But before I get out of here, I have to remind you that I am not a sports betting expert, nor do I implore you to take any of my picks. A wise man once said, good ain't free, and free ain't good. If for some reason you decide to use the free information on this program, you're utilizing it at your own discretion. Most importantly, if you're betting any of these games, do it safe, do it responsibly, and most important, have fun. For Brock Page Predictions and Sports Picks, I'm Brock Page, and have yourself a positive day.